What's up, everybody? What is happening? What's going on? Flip. I haven't uploaded a YouTube video in a while. I mean, where do I begin with why I haven't been uploading? I think a good start would be my fears. I am scared of YouTube and of this platform and of some of you, which is why I haven't been uploading. I've been taking a bit of a step back from YouTube recently and just thinking, actually, I don't have the energy and the capacity to deal with unnecessary resistance in my life, because I feel like I'm experiencing enough resistance in my life without adding to it. So as I've been pushing through some of this resistance in my life and learning about how to deal with shit that comes up in your life, I find myself thinking I should really be pushing into some of my fears. And one of those fears is communicating on this platform with you guys again. And I understand that a lot of people are no longer interested in what's going on in my life. And that's beautiful. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. But a lot of people are actually interested in what I'm doing from now with my life, as well as everything that's happened previously on this channel and those bits of my life that I've shared with you guys. So I thought I'm not going to let my fear of other people not sort of understanding me get in the way of me trying to communicate with those of you who are understanding me. So this is quite scary for me, and I've turned off the comment section because that's a boundary that I'm creating now that's going to help me. Boundaries help me protect my energy, and although I wouldn't be going into and reading the comment section anyway, why even have it if it's something that is causing me resistance in this communication on YouTube? So I'm making a video again because I'm scared, but I'm more scared of not utilizing this platform and this audience and everything that I've built for good. And shit, I feel like, according to a lot of you guys on my Instagram who have been giving me feedback on my blogs, my podcasts, and my stories, and this whole transition that I've been going through over the last year, there's lots of people who it really, really resonates with. And so I don't want to go back to I wouldn't probably go back anyway to doing daily videos about all just the highlight reels of my life, because I don't actually think that that's very important anymore. I think art and photography and travel and a lot of the other stuff that I used to be really into is super important, but it's nothing. It pales into insignificance compared to the journey itself of awakening, for want of a better word, and of consciousness and of understanding the divinity of our very existence. Pretty deep stuff. So this is my YouTube channel, and I'm no longer going to be controlled by my fear of what other people think about what I put on this YouTube channel. So here goes. I guess I give you guys a bit of an update. So thank you so much, firstly, for all the beautiful feedback that you guys have been giving me on my last film that I put up here. That was a collaboration with MusicBed. I shot the whole thing in Scotland, and it's about my relationship with music, emotional relationship with music. And it's a bit deeper than my usual films, and it's certainly something that I enjoyed putting out, and it's something that I'm thinking about doing more of in the future in terms of what I express and how I create and how I express myself through art and through cameras and whatever other ways that I choose to express my emotions. But yeah, thank you so much for all the beautiful feedback around that. What's been going on? Well, I've been doing a few other podcasts over the last few weeks. My schedule isn't very tight with podcasting right now because I'm still trying to figure it out exactly. And I think the key is going to be getting guests on board onto the podcast that we can have discussions with, and it just generally be, at the very least, an entertaining thing to listen to, even if there's not much like deep substance to it in terms of education or illuminating parts of life that you might be interested in. I think that's the direction I want to take the podcast, is like talking about stuff that I think matters, which is like existence, our human experience, happiness, sadness, fear, the full spectrum of emotions. I want to be talking about my personal experiences on this journey of finding out who I'm not, which is sort of, I don't want to say like it's a journey of self-discovery, because it kind of is, but it's mostly a journey of like it's mostly a journey of like finding out what's baggage that I've been like passed down, and what is me, what's not me, and what's me. And I want to take away all the parts that are limiting my human experience, which aren't even mine in the first place, like my conditioning of my mind. So that's the kind of stuff I'm going to be talking about on the podcast. The most popular podcast by far so far have been the 3 that I've done with Ella, my partner. And the last one that we did, we each wrote down 5 lessons that we've taught each other or learnt from each other in the first year of us dating, because we've been dating now for just over a year, which is crazy. Time flies. So go check out this podcast. And then the last podcast I actually put out was to do with my own personal journey with mental health. So if you're interested in that and interested in sort of my stories around navigating this discovery of my own mental illnesses as an influencer, and the stories of like how being online have affected my mind and affected my emotions, and what I'm doing to sort of combat that stuff, because we all know that being on the internet can be pretty fucking terrifying sometimes, especially with like for our emotional body. And I've also just released a new piece of merch, which I'm really happy with. Check that, it's got a little moon and stars, and on the back there's a little wolf with a third eye. It's also available in black, so I'm not going to talk too much about this, because if you know, you know, and if you're supporting me and you want to support me, this is the best way to do it. So thank you so much to everybody who's already purchased one. And yeah, I just want to say that like in the future, my goal for my content and my expression and my art and this journey and how I go about sharing it, I really want it to be, I'm aiming for independence. Like I have to keep earning money, of course, and I'm at a stage right now where I'm still having to feed a machine that I built for years as I slowly transition away from this thing that I thought I needed, I wanted to make everything bigger, grow it, and employ people and buy expensive gear, and it was not all of it, because like deep down I've always just wanted to like share more and help people more and get past those fears. But a lot of my decision making over the last few years has been based upon like my ego, which has been trying to prove to everybody that I'm worth something. There's like a constant fear that I'm not gonna do the thing I need to do to get validation from everybody to be like, he is someone, you know? So now I don't need that quite so much anymore. I'm still like dipping in and out of my ego and my ego's need for validation from people online. And I still go into Instagram, and when someone gets loads of likes, I'm like, oh, that feels nice. But at least I have a bit of awareness that like, that's my addiction. And I feel like I have to go to Instagram to get that validation, because I haven't been working on myself enough to give myself that love, my own validation. Everything I need is in here. So that's the journey that I'm on at the moment, is not needing approval from other people. And certainly as I transition away from being like a travel vlogger, Instagrammer, photographer who's living this dream highlight reel life into more of a journey of truth and vulnerability and transparency, there's gonna be people who watch this and they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm super done with all of this chat. I just want you to go back to traveling and inspiring my life. That's totally fine too. And honestly, you don't have to stick around to watch this. I don't need hundreds of thousands of people to be watching this. I don't need hundreds of thousands of people telling me that this is, that I'm doing good. I know from my deep knowing and my deeper truth that this is my pathway of truth. And because now I have an awareness of what's my truth and where sometimes I'm making decisions out of ego because I need that external validation. So yes, this video is an interesting communication. I'm sure you guys, some of you are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? And I guess to answer that question, you might have to stick around, but if you're not interested, that's totally cool. What else is news? Ella and I are doing fantastic. Contrary to my previous conditioned beliefs of what a successful relationship looks like, we are doing fantastic. That's also one of the things I'm having to shed. It's like a human conditioning of my mind of what a relationship should look like in terms of who does what and how the dynamics work between both of us. And we found recently that we're starting to get on each other's nerves a little bit because we're living in this same space. And we went from dating for a few months straight into living together, and yeah, there was some conflict and there were some things that both of us had to make some adjustments to living with each other. So we decided that I think in the future, or at least for the sort of next year or so, we're actually going to move out and live separately. And now my old conditioning was like, that means you failed as a couple, and then all these fears started coming up and I was triggered by that whole thing. But it's fine if we don't live together, especially if that helps us in our relationship, for the time being anyway. So Ella right now has actually gone back to the UK. I'm staying here in South Africa for just over another month, like 5 weeks before I go back to the UK. And right now my life is consisting of routine, and the main parts of my life that are kind of new that I've built in, which are really helping me, journaling, as often as possible, as much as possible. Like I've just been writing pretty much like anything I feel like in this book. And the reason it's been helping me is because it's me getting my thoughts out of my mind onto a piece of paper. And just that expression of them stops them getting all like worked up in my head. And because you can't write as fast as you can think. So to write, you have to slow your thinking down and really think about what it is you're writing about. And then that gives me time to process everything that's going on during the day, even if it's just something small that's happened, or some huge paradigm shift that I'm having, or some huge fear that's come up. And I think if any of you are watching this who are sort of in the midst of of like an awakening where you kind of feel like, holy shit, and you look back on your past and you're like, whoa, a lot of the stuff I used to do was very unconscious. It's really easy to judge yourself for everything you did previously, where you were kind of running on your conditioned mind, and your conditioned mind was running your emotions and your body, and therefore you would make decisions based upon your conditioning and your emotions. Super easy. I find it really difficult not to judge myself for the things I used to do or the person I used to be. And because I love that, I have nothing but love for my whole journey up till now. And that's a difficult one to really say. I'm grateful for everything that's happened to me, and I have nothing but love for even the mistakes that I've made in my life. So yeah, if you're going through a time when you're kind of questioning who you are, and you're like, well, shit, if like I've got all this conditioning, who the fuck actually am I? It's a scary question to ask, because you don't know if you're ever going to find out, really. And you get really, really attached to who you were. I especially found it really difficult recently to come to terms with all the good stuff that I've done in my life. Like, I've achieved a lot. I talk about achievements as in my top achievements and successful doings that I've done. Junior and senior marathon world champion for kayaking. Took untold amounts of commitment, energy, dedication, and sacrifice in my life to get there. And then I learned in my healing journey that a lot of my motivation behind those achievements was for external validation from other people to say you're on the right track. Congratulations, you're doing really well. And wow, you're world champion, you're really somebody. So my identity, my ego was grabbing onto my results, and I was identifying myself with those results. I am those results. Who are you? I'm Ben Brown, kayak world champion. Look at my medal. And to look back and think about that being an unconscious action of mine, it's really difficult, because I'm like, fuck, was that even my result? Yes, it was. There's always you under the surface. It's always you behind these conditioned actions. And you are on your journey and your path, and your journey is a masterpiece. Whatever your journey is, whatever challenges you find yourself facing are meant to be happening to you in order for you to learn and gain strength from them to move on to the next section and the next chapter of your life, rather than being caught in these repeat cycles and not learning your lessons. For me, it was my relationships were repeating themselves with different people. It was the same patterns, different people, and they weren't ever working out. So just to sit back and be like, okay, what's the repeated pattern that's happening here that isn't working for you, and where did that come from? And then the healing really begins, because just beginning to have awareness that there are patterns in your life that aren't serving you and aren't helping you find peace, you've got to find where those patterns came from. And that, for me, has been a big part of therapy. And going to therapy for the last few months is she's incredible. And without wanting to put her on a pedestal, because we work together through this whole thing, she is incredible. But I've been learning so much about myself, and about why I do certain things, and about why I push people away, or why I codepend on people and scenarios and love from external sources. And a lot of it comes back to because I've struggled to love myself. I don't love myself. And so finding out where that came from is a really difficult and interesting journey. So that's pretty much what is going on for me at the moment. Sorry about this not being super concise. I'm actually not going to edit this at all. I'm just going to stick it straight up. But yeah, the journey from now on, I've actually written a blog post about the next chapter of my life in case anybody's interested. And I only can assume that people are interested because you're subscribed to me. And if you're not interested, that's also totally part of both of our journeys. So go and check out my latest blog post on mrbenbrown.com. It's called The Next Chapter. And I basically have done a little written piece about what I want to do, and the underlying sort of foundation of what I want to do from now is to make myself the big project. Like, I'm the big fucking project now. Often I find myself externalizing my efforts and my energies to make something where I can be like, made this, everybody look at this, I made this, ta-da! And that can often be from a place of ego, and has previously been from a place of ego, where I just want to prove to everybody that I can be someone or something, which is nonsense, because just like you, I am enough. I am enough just the way I am. I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm on the journey that I'm supposed to be on. So, yeah, it's deep, and I have a feeling it's only going to get deeper. I have no idea what the next 5 years is going to hold of my life, but I know that I am no longer scared to share it and make my journey public for people who find themselves on a similar path or can resonate with what's going on right now, because I feel like also the planet needs, like Earth and humanity need human beings to raise their consciousness and raise their vibrational frequencies in order for us to not be reacting constantly to everything, caught in our conditioned minds where we're making emotional decisions the whole time, mostly based on fear. So, my goal is to gain back control of my mind away from my conditioning, so that I can make decisions that aren't from a place of fear. And yeah, so that's that. Anyway, subscribe and hit like on this YouTube button, and don't leave a comment below because you can't. But do go and check out my merchandise, because you guys know that I need all the support I can get. And I hope that you give me the benefit of the doubt. All I wanted to do is help people. And back then it was like, help people get a camera and get outside into nature and be creative. And now I want to help share my journey of like discovering what it really means to be a conscious person. I want to share that because I think that's the most important thing ever. But you'll be pleased to hear I'm also going to be taking photos if you're into that kind of stuff. I'm also maybe going to be making a couple of films along the way, because art is really, really important. It's super important that we're expressing ourselves, expressing our emotions, and not just bottling that shit up, because it's part of therapy and it's part of dealing and with the process of those emotions. So this is a really long YouTube video, and I'm not sorry at all. And I hope some of you guys stick around. If not, peace, see ya, and I love you all unconditionally. Namaste, motherfuckers.